So let us find out the derivative by using that definition of the derivative. Let us find out the derivative of the different function and we will derive a formula. Okay, let's find out the derivative of this function. We will find out f prime of x if fx equals to x. So solution is, what is the formula for f prime of x? The formula is limit delta x tends to 0, right? F of x plus delta x minus f of x divided by delta x. Now tell me, what is f of x plus delta x? See, fx is x, right? So if you want to find out f of x plus delta x, then that x will be replaced by x plus delta x. So that x will be replaced by x plus delta x. That will give you, let me write down the limit delta x tends to 0. That will be x plus delta x minus f of x is basically x divided by delta x. You see that? Now this is basically negative delta x and positive delta x cancel out. So what is left is delta x over delta x, right? So you cancel out. So this is basically 1. So how do I write that then? So the f prime of x is basically 1. Meaning, if the function is just x, then the derivative is 1. Okay? So let us do another example. If f prime of x, find f prime of x if fx equals to x squared. So in this case, what we do again, f prime of x, we use the formula limit delta x tends to 0, right? F of x plus delta x minus f of x, right? Divided by delta x. Now what is f of x plus delta x? You just use that function, right? Replace x by x plus delta x. So you will get limit delta x tends to 0. It is x plus delta x square minus x square. You see that? Divide by delta x. Now how do I simplify the top? You simplify the top by foiling that, right? You foil the top. It is like x plus delta x times x plus delta x. So how do you do that? It is like you see that x plus delta x times x plus delta x, right? So how much would that be? So it is x squared plus x times delta x plus x times delta x plus delta x square, right? So it is x times delta x times delta x will be 2x times delta x. You see that? So let me write down that it is like x squared plus 2x times delta x plus delta x square minus that x square is just x square. You see that? Divide by delta x. Now you see that this negative x square and the positive x square cancel out. That negative x square and the positive x square cancel out. So what is left there is limit delta x tends to 0. So that what is left in the top is 2x delta x plus delta x square, right? Now let me factor out that delta x from the top. So if you take that delta x out, you're left with 2x plus delta x divide by delta x, right? Now you cancel out those delta x and delta x because they are dividing, right? So what is left is basically limit delta x tends to 0, 2x plus delta x, right? Now plug in the delta x limit as 0. So this will be go to 0, right? So what is left is 2x. Okay. Now look at this. So the derivative of x is 1. The derivative of x squared is 2 times x. So can you guess what will be the derivative of x cubed? So the idea is this, okay? So how do I guess that is, if the exponent of the x is 1, okay? If the exponent of x is 1, x to the 1, then the derivative is 1 and then x to the 1 minus 1. You can generalize like that because what is x to the 1 minus 1? It is x to the 0, right? So 1 times x to the 0 is basically 1 times 1 because x to the 0 is 1. So 1 times x to the 0, that is 1. If there is x squared, then you can think that way. So it is like the derivative will look like the exponent comes to the first, like you have here, the exponent comes to the first and then you write x and then exponent minus 1. Here exponent comes to the first and then x and then exponent minus 1. Look at that. 2 times x, 2 minus 1. How much is that? That is basically 2x to the 1, right? That's just 2x. So similarly, if you have fx equals to x to the cube, then if you do exactly the same technique, you will have x plus delta x to the third minus x cubed divided by delta x, and then you do you fold that, you multiply 2 times, right? X plus delta x times x plus delta x times x plus delta x, 3 times like that. If you fold that, you will get like this. Because there is 3, it is like the 3 goes to the first, and then you write x and then 3 minus 1. That will give you 3x squared if there is x to the cubed. Okay, how about x to the n? For any exponent n, the derivative will look like this: nx n minus 1. That is the derivative of x to the n. We call this as a power rule. Okay, so basically you can write exactly same thing. Instead of using fx, if the question is given like this, like say y equals to x to the fourth, what will be the y prime? Exactly the same, right? Because instead of y, instead of f of x, I'm writing y. If there is x to the fourth, how much would be the y prime? That is the derivative. It is same as f prime of x. It will be 4 and then x, 4 minus 1. That will be 4x to the cube. So you can use this power rule to find out the derivative of any function. Okay.